What's been happening with the RV? It has been several weeks, and here's the update. In the last RV renovation video, I told you about a water leak. If you watched the last video, you saw this footage from my son's phone in the middle of the night. It was about 11 o'clock at night, where something had burst in the RV, a pipe had burst, and we had water literally everywhere. When I went the next morning, the inside actually looked pretty good. There wasn't any standing water. There wasn't much water at all. Our kitchen faucet that we had originally purchased when I arrived was just on the counter. So the pressure built up and it burst. I purchased a new one. It got here. I headed up to the RV and I replaced it.
Okay, the kitchen faucet has officially been replaced with a new faucet, and we can't try it yet because we're waiting for RV maintenance company to come and fix the burst pipes. So we've gotten as much done as we can now. And that's awesome.
When I replaced the kitchen faucet, because it had been destroyed, it didn't occur to me that the same thing could have potentially happened to the bathroom faucet, and it just didn't show from the outside. Our son contacted us on November 24th, 2021, that the leak was happening. I was up there on November 25th. I figured out what happened with the propane company and that the furnace had been left off. I ordered the new kitchen faucet, but I was really thinking I needed to wait until the RV maintenance company got there to find out where there was damage. And still, it wasn't occurring to me that all the water that had been in the cabinet underneath the bathroom came from above. And it clearly came from above, and that was probably because the bathroom faucet had also been damaged internally. I replaced the kitchen faucet on December 31st. Happy New Year, 2021. And RV maintenance wasn't scheduled to come to the RV to check it until January 11th. On January 11th, finally, after waiting from November 25th to January 11th for our appointment to even happen, I showed up, and somehow, we don't know how, the RV had become unplugged. I showed up, it was 26 degrees out, and basically the entire RV was a block of ice. Couple issues there, that's not going to help a water leak. And also, the RV was so frozen and temperatures have been so cold, it wasn't going to take just me turning on the furnace and warming up the RV to thaw everything in the RV. It did thaw enough for me to turn on all the faucets. When I turned on the bathroom faucet, it started to drip from the faucet. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, of course this faucet was destroyed because the kitchen faucet was destroyed. Why wouldn't that have been the case? And that also clarified for me where the water had come from that was underneath the bathroom sink, because it was all from the top. Nothing underneath the false floor or underneath where the drawers were was wet. It was dusty. I removed that faucet and ordered a new one. We bought the bathroom sink and faucet as a unit, so I just had to check all the measurements and order the appropriate faucet. When the RV maintenance company came up, they finished two things from the propane. The first thing was that underneath the stove top, the propane line, it had just enough tension where they wanted to put an elbow joint on it. So they did that, and they replaced the propane detector. I am so thankful that the propane detector that was there worked. They told me that it needs to be replaced every 5 years, and the one that was in our RV was the original, so it was 21 years old. So both of those things got taken care of. They did assess the water damage, and there are pros and cons. There were things about the situation that made it look good, some things about the situation that made it look questionable. And basically the bottom line was we paid $250 for what got done that day. I needed to wait a few days to go up to the RV so that it was allowed to thaw out completely. And once I had running water in the bathroom sink, the shower, and the kitchen sink to let them know, and they would come up another time to figure out what exactly was leaking, how bad was it, could they fix it, or did they have to refer me to someone else?
The great news is that every single time we have an issue, I would like to have fewer issues, first of all. Having said that, every time we've had an issue, holy cow, have I learned a lot. Now I'm here and the propane tank needs to be filled. A totally normal thing. Just seems like not the best timing. I was hoping to get here, have it really warm and toasty in here, and that all of the pipes would be thawed out. We'd have running water everywhere. And that was not the case. So now we have to call the propane company to have them deliver propane, let the furnace come on and heat up for a few days and warm everything up. But I'm so excited because we do have some running water. The new faucet came today and I have everything here. So at the very least, I am going to get this installed. When I looked at all the plumbing, everything's thawed out enough actually that the ice has melted and we have running water in the shower, although it's not full force by any means. And we have it running here. It was coming out faster earlier. We have water running, and the great thing is that there's nothing leaking underneath the sink. The new faucet is doing great. Things are not totally thawed, but we do have them back up and running. The new faucet is installed. It looks great. It's perfect. It's not connected because when I connected it, there are leaks where the connection is happening. So I need to get plumber's tape and putty to come back and get that done. One thing that has been discouraging is that we live about half an hour away from the RV. And with homeschool and jobs and all that stuff, it's not a fast, easy thing to come up all the time. It's not awful. It's just not the easiest thing. Some great things happened today. I know that we have running water everywhere in the RV. And so far, I can't find leaks underneath anything. I also realized that we needed to have propane delivered. And I know what I need to get to finish the bathroom faucet. I was hoping to have gotten the whole faucet installed without any leaks, and I didn't know we were going to need propane. So waiting for that and then coming up again with the plumber's tape is just one of those necessary things that has to happen. These are these really fast, easy, inexpensive trips to Home Depot to grab stuff. Having said that, it takes me longer to be able to get up to the RV. So when I carve out time and I have several hours at my disposal, it is a little discouraging to have to leave, not finish, go get stuff, and then come back at another time. Guess that's just the way it goes. Here we are, March 29th, 4 months of stress and trying to get an appointment and running out of propane. When the maintenance company came the first time, and I love them, they're amazing. When they came the first time, they said, you know, it's possible it blew the water heater, our brand new on-demand hot water heater. So they came today, and guess what? It was only $205 to fix it. 4 months of a lot of stress. We had to reset everything in the water heater. It actually took a hot minute. Hot minute to get that all dialed back in. And underneath the bathroom sink, I replaced the kitchen faucet and the bathroom faucet. Underneath the bathroom faucet, where the RV water tubes connect to the faucet tubes, we had on-off valves, which actually saved things because the valve blew. Yes, the faucets did get ruined and have to be replaced, but the valve blew, and none of our water pipes blew at all. We have no leaks anywhere in the RV. Right here's our hot water heater, so we were super concerned about that, and that's all good. Thank goodness. And then under here, where we have the outside shower, and basically things are connecting right under here, it was full of water, and we thought that this whole unit had probably frozen and exploded during the freeze, but it did not. It's completely intact. The only thing outside that needed to be replaced was this valve. The interesting thing is that
the valve that was on here before looked just like this one, screwed in. But when you moved this, it moved all over the place. And we were always a little bit unsure about how good the valve was just because it was so loose. And we had talked about possibly replacing it, not knowing how difficult it would be or how involved. And actually it really is not. Here's a picture of the valve that was removed. It's just a matter of unscrewing and replacing this piece. So the first thing they had to do was replace that valve. The spring in it had broken, so it wasn't allowing water to get into the RV at all. And then underneath the bathroom sink, those two, the hot and cold water valves that we had connecting the RV plumbing to the faucet, had to be replaced. I wasn't sure if I had done something wrong when I connected that faucet. There's no problem with the kitchen faucet, but no, those two valves blew and had to be replaced. That is it. That is it. Our main exterior water valve needed to be replaced, and the two small valves underneath the bathroom sink needed to be replaced. I am feeling so blessed right now. We have no water leaks underneath. We have no water leaks in the shower. Nothing is leaking inside. It was the best case scenario for having your pipes freeze and explode and leak water everywhere and flood the backyard. It's a shame it took 4 months for us to figure this out. It's great that it's done. It was another situation that seemed really overwhelming and ended up not being a huge deal, but there's no way you would know about that until you kind of get through to the end. And this took 4 months. RV maintenance, getting here and scheduling, especially in the winter, it just takes some time. They're great if it's an absolute emergency, but it wasn't. So now we are ready to spend our first weekend. One thing about coming up to the RV is that every single time we realize how much we absolutely love it. Always projects. One of the projects is going to be to replace those two peel and stick tiles on the backsplash. An easy one. Things are dusty because we haven't been here. It's been sitting here for 6 months. So we're going to need to do some basic wipe everything down. And we've done so much work on this thing, and it's been a 14-month process so far. And we're really excited. So next up, we're going to come up. We have the cleaning and the tiles. There's going to be lots of little things. The two biggest things are still leveling the RV and bringing the couch that we bought up here to see if we can get it in and if it fits. If not, we have a really nice couch that we like that we can't use in the RV, and we'll have to start over looking for something else. I'm really, really hoping though that we can get it in here and it's not a problem. We have a queen size mattress, not the queen size mattress that we sleep on at home, but we have another queen size mattress for when we come up on weekends. When we move in, we'll swap them out. This I had actually purchased for the bunk. What we decided is Taven has a really great twin mattress, actually the same mattress as that queen. And if we put the twin up here, she has a lot of space along the back as well as the edge to put containers for clothes and books and toys and special stuff. And so it really basically makes this little space complete for her. She can get most of the things from her bedroom up here. Also, once we get the couch up here, assuming that it fits, I can finish the walkthrough and share the video of our walkthrough. And the great thing is that in this walkthrough, every section that I did video on was totally clean with none of our stuff in it. How great is that? So it will look, it's absolutely beautiful. And then I can do another walkthrough when we have all of our things in it. Great news. Not only did the water get fixed and everything's ready to go and we have full propane and everything set, but I brought a truckload up today, which is the day after the water leak was fixed. We brought things up that we'll be able to leave up at the RV for weekends and until we're moving in. I got all of that put away and I polyurethane the counter, and now we're ready to go. I'm looking forward to the next part of this adventure, which should be the walkthrough before we move in, then the move in and the walkthrough after we've tried to figure out how to organize everything. Stay tuned.